Marvel Rivals Season 4 is just over a week away, and today we've had some very exciting news as to what to expect in this upcoming update, including which new characters will be arriving, a first look at some of the new summer skins that will be coming out, some potentially major balance changes, the return of certain event game modes, and some improvements to social play, as well as a few minor additions. First of all, let's talk about the trailer. This of course gave us our reveal. It's both of the new characters and the new location that we'll be visiting, which will of course be the highlight of this season's map, as well as where the seasonal narrative will center around. Our first new hero is Angela. Within the Rivals continuity, she is the sibling of Hela, Thor, and Loki, and just like Thor, she will be a Vanguard, which as someone who primarily does play tank, this is definitely nice to hear. It sounds like she's potentially going to have a really interesting moveset, especially with her being essentially a one-winged angel, and she's also going to have a team up with Thor. I'm definitely glad to see more team ups between different tanks, as hopefully it encourages more people to actually pick the role, because I'll be honest, being the only Vanguard of the team 99% of the matches I play is starting to get really tiring. Unfortunately though, even if people do start playing more Vanguard, I don't think that'll last very long, as our other new hero is Daredevil. Though within the Rivals continuity it is worth noting this is not Matt Murdock, at least it doesn't seem to be. As opposed to the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, we have Daizang, the Devil of the 8th City, who within the seasonal story appears to be at war with Angela, as the two are essentially conflicting over who gets to keep Hela, following up on the Rivals King in Black saga. It's giving us this really cool angels versus demons thing, and Daredevil will of course presumably be a duelist. But while all this is going on, Doctor Doom has his own plan, and it'll be up to Iron Fist to protect the immortal dragon. We haven't had a proper look at the new map yet, but it has been confirmed to be the Heart of Heaven, which will be a map for the Convergence mode, and take place in Kunlun. It won't come out straight away with the season though, as it will be releasing on September 25th. One of my favourite new additions about the update is definitely going to be the arcade mode hub, however. In this hub, you'll find the return of some of the event modes like Clone Rumble and Giant Size Brain Blast, which will now be permanent additions. Some of the other more arcadey type game modes such as Conquest and Doom Match will also be here, alongside a couple of new modes, including Free Fight, which is basically just normal matches but there is no restrictions on duplicate heroes, which means you and your team can play whoever you want. And there will also be Conquest Annihilation, which seems like it's basically just going to be team deathmatch as you get points via KOs. Overall, I think this is a great social feature, having a place for all of these arcade modes, and you will have the option to queue for any of them. You don't have to queue for them individually, but I think this is something that will be a super fun addition for more casual players, and bringing some of those event modes back as permanent additions is nice to see. We're also going to have the option to favorite heroes now, which will basically allow you to just filter the characters when you start a match, so you can just pick from your favorites rather than needing to scroll through the entire character selection. There's also going to be slow walk input support on PC, so that PC players may now aura farm while they walk slowly. While we're talking about things specifically for PC, players will be able to download gallery cards. So if there's any artwork in Rivals that you are particularly fond of, you'll now have the option to, I suppose, download it and use it as your wallpaper. Something that I found particularly interesting from the dev vision that was released today is that Rivals will be getting released on PS4. This, of course, great for people that haven't had the chance to upgrade to next-gen hardware that have been missing out on the game, and will hopefully bring some fresh blood to the player base. That being said, I am very curious to see how it will actually run on the platform, but hopefully it's a sign of things to come, as it would be nice to eventually see Rivals release on the Switch too, and if it can release on the PS4, maybe it'll get an Xbox One release at some point. In regards to Ranked, we're also going to be getting placement matches, which is an insane thing to really need to say. It won't be something that releases with the season, but it's more so just a heads up that it is something they are working on. So rather than getting ranked down by 3 divisions or so every single time a new season starts, you will just instead have to complete your placements and then hope for the best. This is definitely a nice thing to hear. 9 times out of 10 in regards to ranked, other than really since season 3.5, I usually just grind to gold so I can unlock the character recolors, which then means I have to start from bronze again at the beginning of each new season. So I am personally a fan of this, it's just a matter of waiting for this feature to actually get added. In regards to character balancing, there is going to be a plethora of characters that receive buffs and nerfs. We don't quite know what these buffs and nerfs are going to be yet, but the list of characters that will be receiving nerfs are Emma Frost, Captain America, Squirrel Girl, Black Panther, Psylocke, Luna Snow, and Loki. There hasn't been specific details for all of them, but I know in regards to Luna Snow, her ult won't last as long, which is music to my ears. Black Panther will be getting his survivability lowered, though a new team up he's receiving kind of negates this change anyway. And it sounds like Psylocke and Squirrel Girl are going to be getting some kind of nerf in regards to their damage output. As for the characters getting buffed, it seems like both Penny and Thor are going to get improvements in regards to their ults. I know Doctor Strange is getting a buff in regards to his damage output. We're also going to see improvements for Scarlet Witch, Blade, Moon Knight, Ultron, Invisible Woman, and Jeff. In regards to Ultron, Invisible Woman, and Jeff, it is also in regards to their ultimate attack. But again, I don't know what the specifics of these are yet. And while we're on the topic of balances, let's talk about some of those team-ups. First of all, I've already mentioned Thor's earlier on, but he is getting a team-up with Angela, with the name of this ability being Divine Armory. Thor uses Angela's power to throw a spear, which restores Thor force upon hit. And then it seems like he's going to be able to leap towards the point of impact for the spear, which will do an additional bit of damage to the enemies around the impact point. Magic will be joining the team up with Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, will allow her to use a chain of Cyttorak to link enemies together, and that will apply a slowing effect that's going to scale based on how far apart the two players that are chained together are, which sounds like it's going to be horrible to deal with. As for Black Panther, he is losing his team up with Magic, so that team up will no longer exist. He is instead getting added to the team up with Hulk and Namor. When his HP depletes below a certain threshold, it will automatically activate one of Bruce Banner's shields that will allow him to block incoming damage for a short amount of time. So although his survivability is getting nerfed, if you do have a Hulk on your team, this is basically going to give you the time that you need to still get out of any dire situation you may find yourself in. And on that note, we can now move on to talking about some of the customization. First of all, there's going to be new accessories. Magneto's accessory will be Polaris. Scarlet Witch's accessory will be Quicksilver. The accessory for Cloak and Dagger, to be fair, seems quite interesting, as their accessory is each other, so presumably you just unlock it once. While you're playing as Dagger, the accessory will be Cloak, and then when you change characters, it switches to Dagger, I think. And then for Luna Snow, she's getting a White Fox. Ultimate ability effect customization will also appear for other players now. Right now, if you do have any of the ultimate effects unlocked, for characters that do have customization for it, it only displays for you, but it will now display for other players. That being said, if you don't want to see the effects that other people have equipped, you do have the option to disable it. And finally, a second wave of summer skins has been announced. The Thing is getting an additional swimsuit skin, which to be fair, does look a lot better than the Thong, but I do think this skin should have gone to someone else. The Thing has had 2 event skins in the current season, one of which already being a summer skin, and then he had a symbiote one. So the fact that he's taking a slot and getting an additional summer skin does seem a bit odd, but at this point, we're also like past summer now. The Punisher is also getting a swimsuit outfit, with his presumably being a legendary, given it is changing all of his weapons, his turret, his ultimate. Mantis is a part of this upcoming wave. Human Torch will also be finally receiving his summer skin. Obviously, we've known about his and Punishers for a while. And finally, the Invisible Woman will be the last of this second wave. Now, this is also why I find the Thing getting a second one really interesting, is every member of the Fantastic Four will now have one of these swimsuit special skins except Reed Richards, which just seems like a really bizarre choice. I don't understand why you would give the Thing a second one as opposed to giving Reed one, because then the 4 would all have a matching set. My girlfriend has said to mention that this has very much upset her, as she likes to play as Reed Richards. She has said, and I quote, "I want to see his fantastic dangle around. And if I didn't include this in the video, I would regret it later." Help me! Help!